Okay, so what we're going to go over is look at some typical careers in the business administration field. And then we'll go over some details about the business admin certificate here at Northern Lakes College. What are the program requests, prerequisites? What are the program costs? What's the program format? What are the courses offered by term? What are the ideal computer and internet access that a student would have? What's the requirement to attend an NLC campus? I'll make some comments about, I don't know how to turn this thing off. I'll make some comments about doing assignments on publisher websites, how to get books, what are some common challenges? I don't know how to turn this darn thing off. How do I turn this off? There we go. What are some common challenges that students have in the program? Then why you might want to select NLC as your school, and we'll see if you have any questions at the end. So I'm supposed to remind you that there are two $150 gift certificates available for participants tonight. One is for if you pre-registered, I think your name will go into a draw. So this is a gift certificate at NLC's kind of on-campus store, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and that kind of stuff. And then there's another one for students that complete an evaluation form after the virtual open house. Okay, so unless there's any questions, we'll just start. We'll start going through this. Okay, so what are some typical jobs in business administration? So the way I look at things is every organization, whether you're a government organization, whether you're a business organization, whether you're a nonprofit organization, you have an administrative function. What's entailed by administration really depends on the nature of the organization and how large you are, but every organization has people working in the admin side. So what are some examples of jobs that graduates from our program have gone into in the past? So maybe a financial disbursements clerk, accounts receivable clerk, payroll clerk, office administrator, customer service representative, and then some students also start up their own businesses. So you can use our program as kind of a basis for being your own boss. Okay, so some students go through the business administration certificate, which is a one-year program, but some students continue on with their studies afterwards. And so what are some options for continued studies after finishing our program? So Northern Lakes College has a human resource management diploma. So it's a second-year program, and the prerequisite is completing the business administration certificate program. Some students do this diploma program, and then they want to get their professional designation to work in the human resource management field. And so the professional designation in Alberta, in most of Canada, is called a Chartered Professional in Human Resources, CPHR. And so once if you complete the certificate program, then you complete the diploma program, that's a second year. To get the CPHR designation, you have to have a degree. And so you need to have one more year. And so some students go to Athabasca University. Why do they pick Athabasca University? It's because I think a lot of their courses are online. So you don't have to live in Athabasca. You can live, anywhere across Canada and take courses there. Okay, so some students follow that path. Another path that students follow is some students are interested in accounting. So NLC does not have an accounting diploma. However, if you have your business administration certificate from Northern Lakes College, that is the prerequisite for getting into an accounting diploma at another school. So you could go to Athabasca University, you could go to NAIT in Edmonton, you could go to Portage College. Portage College is to the east of us. So they're in Lac La Biche, in Cold Lake, and a number of the other communities between Athabasca and the Saskatchewan border. And some people want to become a professional accountant, and so the designation for professional accountant in Canada is the CPA designation. So chartered stands for Chartered Professional Accountant. So to get this designation, you have to do your certificate program. You have to do an accounting diploma. Then I think you also need one more year at a university, and then there's some work requirements. But anyways, we've had students that have gone through this at Athabasca U. And then some students, they're not really interested in human resource management. They're not really interested in accounting either, but they are interested in general business management. So a number of schools have a diploma in business management. So if you have your certificate from Northern Lakes College, you could go into a business management diploma at Athabasca, NAIT, Portage College, and a whole host of other colleges in Alberta, and I suspect other provinces as well. Okay, so I tried to dig up some information, some salary information for grads in business admin, and I have to admit it's a little bit hard to get some data that's specific to our program because there's so many different business administration programs out there. There's the certificate level program, which we offered in NLC. You have diploma level programs, you have degree level programs, you have master's level programs. Anyways, I found some data from February 2024, and this is for Alberta. And they say that the average annual entry level salaries for business admin grads is somewhere between the mid 30s to the mid 50s. And here's a list of some. These jobs are, I think, in Calgary. So administrative assistant, financial administrator, marketing associate, human resource coordinator, sales representative, business development associate, account manager, business analyst, management analyst, and the salaries kind of go up. So what kind of salary you could expect really depends on, what experience you have. Some people are already in the workplace, and so they already have a foot in the door. Some are, straight out of high school. The salaries are probably higher in the big cities rather than in smaller communities. So there's and job responsibilities. So there's a whole bunch of factors that go into what your pay could end up being. Okay, so what are the prerequisites for becoming a student in our business admin certificate program? So there's two key prerequisites. One is in English and one is in math. So you have to be fluent in English. And these course codes, I'm not originally from Alberta, so I don't really understand these course codes, but I know these are high school courses. So I need to have a credit in English 0190 or English 30-1, or at least a 60% in English 30-2. Maybe that makes more sense to some of these students. And likewise, there's a minimum prerequisite in math. So you need to have a credit in pure math 30, applied math 30, math 30-1, 30-2 courses from the other province. Then you might take this AccuPlacer aptitude test. Okay, so what are the costs of being a student in our program? So I know this is kind of busy, this slide, so I'm going to break it up into two parts. So this top part here pertains to students from Canada. The bottom part pertains to international students. So if you're an international student, either you are not in Canada today, or maybe you are in Canada today, but you're really a foreign student, and there's different fees for foreign students. So in our program, we have two main terms. The term in the fall, so from Labor Day up until about Christmas, and then from New Year's to end of April. And these terms have the 10 main courses that students take. And then there's an optional term in the spring term, so May and June. Some of these are repeat courses. So English 1110, that's normally offered in the fall. And accounting 1107, that's normally offered in January. So if you wanted to complete your complete certificate in 1 year, but you didn't want to take 5 courses per term, you could take 4 courses in the fall, 4 courses in the winter term, and then pick up the other 2 courses in the spring term. And then we have another optional course in the spring term. This is a practicum course where the student goes out and works for a month at no pay at an employer just to get work experience. Okay, so the basic cost for a course is $435. So if you were to take 5 courses in the fall term, the tuition is going to be $2,175. Likewise, if you were to take 5 courses in the winter term, so from January to April, 5 courses times 435, that's $2,175. So then there's something known as a technology fee, and I think this stands for student association fee. So there are another couple $100 there. And so for the fall term, it turns out to be $2,410, and for the winter term, it's about $2,300. And these are just the costs for the courses. They do not include the costs for the books. Books are fairly expensive. Anyways, books are fairly expensive, and so the little note here says, hey, please budget about $200 per course for books. Personally, I think that's a little bit too high. You might be able to get books maybe somewhere between about $90 and $150, but we're just going to say 200 just to make it a round number and make it kind of high so you don't under budget. So if you have 5 courses in the fall, and if you said $200 a book per course, that's another $1,000 per term in books. So that's another $1,000 for the fall term, another $1,000 for the winter term, and it's really not that high. but we're gonna say budget that, but I can tell you it's going to be too high. And I'll talk a little bit more about books in a bit. So for the students that came in late, my name is Alex, and I'm one of the instructors in the Business Admin program. So I'm conducting this virtual open house for you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can ask them at any time, or you can wait till the end. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so what's the format of our program? So you can take our program either on a full-time basis or a part-time basis. And so let me just go backwards here. So in the fall term, from Labor Day to Christmas, we offer 5 courses. And then from January to April, we offer another 5 courses. Offer another 5 courses. However, the way, I really don't know why, but the way it works is if you take at least 3 courses per term, that qualifies you as a full-time student. I really don't know what that means. It just means that you're full-time rather than part-time. Part-time students means you're taking either 1 or 2 courses per term. It doesn't matter, so many students are part-time students. Many students they work full-time, and so they just take 2 courses per term, and it takes them a few years to finish off. They do 5 courses per year, so it'll take them 4 years to do the whole program. But we have many part-time students, many part-time students. Okay, so what's the format of our courses? So our courses are a combination of live classes, and these classes are typically, I want to say they're in the morning, but sometimes they're in the afternoon, or sometimes they're in the evening, typically during work day hours. And we record the classes. So the classes are all online. And so you log in, I log in, and we do our accounting class. And for students who missed the class, we record the sessions, and the recordings are available to you later on. We have some other classes that they're not live. They're known as asynchronous. So we have lessons, but they're all pre-recorded. And so you just go and watch, you read the textbook, you watch the recorded lesson, and then you go and do your assignments. So it's more self-directed. So many students are not familiar with this asynchronous format. However, we've been doing it for a number of years, and it works. And in fact, we have many students who work full-time, right? They work full-time, and so they could never attend a live class. And so they kind of love these asynchronous classes because it allows them to complete their certificate while they're working full-time. So the asynchronous format, although it may be a little bit, you may not be familiar with it, all I can tell you is it works. You have to be a fairly self-directed student, because you don't have the instructor kind of reminding you every day to keep up on top of your workload. But if you're a self-motivated student, then you would, you might very well thrive in it. Okay, so what courses do we have in our certificate program? So to complete the certificate program, there are 10 courses. And, we offer 5 of them in the fall, 5 of them in the winter term, and then we may have some additional offerings of some of these courses based on student interest. So in the fall term, we have an introduction to accounting course. It's a basic course on accounting. I've taught this course a number of times. So I kind of like this course myself, even though I'm not an accountant. I know that it's a good course. Then we have an introduction to computer applications. So we use Microsoft Office program. Microsoft Office, it's kind of the standard business software that many businesses use. There's other programs out there, like Google has their own software for word processing and spreadsheets and databases and the like. But we use Microsoft Office, and this is a very hands-on course. All you're doing in this course, you're doing assignment after assignment after assignment after assignment. But students tend to like this course because they learn lots of features in these programs. They learn lots and lots of features, and then they can use these programs in doing their assignments in other courses. And then, of course, if you're working, chances are you'll probably use Microsoft programs. But even if you don't use Microsoft programs, the other programs out there like Google and the like, they're very similar to Microsoft's programs. So if you get a grounding in Microsoft programs, you're going to be good to go in the workplace for sure. Okay, so in the fall term, we have 2 economics courses. We have one in the fall and one in the winter term. In the fall, we do microeconomics. So it looks at the nature of consumer behavior and the nature of the cost structure of businesses. Then there's a business communications course, so it's an English course, and then there's a business math course. Okay, and then in the winter term, starting in January after Christmas, we have a second economics course. We have a course which deals with macroeconomics. So macroeconomics deals with things that you read about or hear about in the news all the time, like the unemployment rate, inflation rate of economic growth, taxes, and things pertinent to the macroeconomy. We also have an introduction to business law. So in the realm of business, we deal with contracts all the time. Anyways, we deal with contracts all the time. And I don't know how to turn this thing off. Anyways, we do lots with contracts and other aspects of law as well. We also have a second accounting course. And to get into the second accounting course, the first accounting course is a prerequisite. And likewise, business math is also a prerequisite. I don't really know why math is a prerequisite for this, because sometimes we've had students that have done the second course without math, and they've done just fine. But anyways, they're prerequisites. Then there's a course in organizational behavior, and then there's a course in marketing. Many students like marketing, you know, in all aspects of business, all aspects of our life, we're trying to sell something to other people. Products, services, we're trying to persuade people to, you know, adopt our opinions or adopt our views. That's all dealing with marketing. Marketing is really applied psychology. And many students like marketing. I won't say that every student likes marketing, but many students do like marketing. And it's a pretty broad course. Okay, and if there's sufficient people signed up, there could be a second offering of the English course in the second term. And then we have some possible courses in the spring term. So we have the practicum. So this is the 1 month practicum where you go and work at an employer for free for a month in order to get work experience. And there could be another offering of English in the second accounting course. Okay, let's just move on. Okay, so if you're a student in our program, because our program is offered online, as opposed to, we don't have any classrooms with students in them. There's no face-to-face classes. So all of our classes are online. So that means you're going to have access to a computer, and you're going to have access to the internet. So in the best of all possible worlds, each student would have their own computer at home. If you live in a family and you've got mom and you got dad and you got 2 kids, kid number 1, kid number 2, and there's only one computer, that's probably going to be a problem, because everyone's going to want to use a computer in the evening and on the weekends, and whoever's trying to take courses online, it's probably just not going to work very well. So ideally, you would have your own computer for you, the student. Some students don't have that. But what some students do is their employers allow them to do their courses at work. And so some students use a work computer, but that's because their employers allow that. So you could be in that kind of a situation. So if you have a computer at home that you're going to use, you need some programs on it. So we're currently using the Microsoft 365 suite of programs. There's a word processing program. There's a spreadsheet program. There's a slide presentation program. There's a database. And then Outlook is kind of like an online calendar. And then to access our courses, most of the course material is located on NLC's website. And some of the course material is located on publisher websites. So you're going to have internet access to access NLC's website and to access publisher websites. So in the best of all possible worlds, you would have high-speed internet access at home. Not all students have high-speed internet access at home. Some students live in kind of rural areas. And sometimes they go to town to access high-speed internet. But in the best of all possible worlds, you would have high-speed internet access at your home. This would be most convenient for doing assignments, for sure. Okay, so students can do we don't have any face-to-face classes. So all of our classes are online. So the question is, do you have to attend an NLC campus? And the answer is yes. Why? And why? The answer is why? Or the question is why? Well, it's not for classes, but it's to do your exams. You have to do your midterm and your final exams at an NLC campus. However, some students do not live near an NLC campus. You might live 50 kilometers away. You might live 100 kilometers away. You might live in British Columbia. You might live in the Northwest Territories. You might live in a different country. So in that case, you don't have to come to an NLC campus to do your exams. We can set you up to do your exams at another location, whether it's another school, like a high school or elementary school or local library. Okay. Okay, so to kind of finish up here. So why might you decide to do your business admin certificate program from Northern Lakes College? So firstly, because our courses are all delivered online, you can take your courses from your home community. You don't have to move to Edmonton or Grand Prairie or some other community. If you're working, well, you can do our courses either full or part-time, because if we have a live class, the classes get recorded, or if you're taking an asynchronous class, they're pre-recorded anyways. If you have family responsibilities, so a number of our students, it could be a mom with a couple of kids under the age of 4, so they're not even in school yet, and so mom is at home looking after the kids. Well, maybe she has some time during the day to take some courses. So it allows you to take courses while you can stay in your home community. So you can take our program either on a full-time basis or a part-time basis. Of course, if you do it full-time, you'll finish faster, but we probably have more part-time students than full-time. It's probably like 40, 60%. I think we have more part-timers. Okay, so likewise, our courses are recognized at other schools. So if you want to go into an accounting diploma program, that's our certificates recognized at Athabasca, NAIT, Portage, and a bunch of other colleges. If you want to get into the human resource management diploma at NLC, we recognize that. So we like to think that we have supportive, understanding, and knowledgeable instructors. And if you're in high school, there's some courses that you can take through the dual credit program. I